The CJ Gardner-Johnson possibly being out for the year, that I told you yesterday, I was maybe on the ledge. I'm on the ledge now and it's not just that injury, but that kind of put it over the top. I mean, Sunday's loss was one thing. It's the loss of bodies at this point. I mean, attrition
when
is
you've
part
been
of the
injured
NFL.
in an accident, whether it's auto, truck,
I
or
can't
motorcycle
remember a week where they
accident, or a
lost
slip and
this
fall,
many players,
attorney
this
David
many
Sebenino
starters.
is the guy.
I mean,
to give you
Decker
a
was
call.
already out.
As
but
I've told
Dan
you
Campbell said this
previously,
morning,
when you
he's
get
like, you know,
injured
yeah,
in Michigan, you
we're
get
gonna be
David
thin.
and get paid.
And then he pointed out
David
we were kind of like
personally
that
make
last
sure
year
that you
to
get
start the
every
season,
single
too,
dime
and I
that you
was thinking,
deserve.
yeah,
and David will
1-6
never take a
for the
fee.
start.
Again, never take a
Let's
fee
not ever-
until you get paid. So if you've been injured or you know someone who has been injured, you need to tell them to call David Feminino at 855-65-CRASH or go to his website, getdavidgetpaid.com. That's 855-65-CRASH, getdavidgetpaid.com.
Two 248-539-9797. I did mention, that Orgeron, who was mentioned as a possible by a fan, to take over at MSU. Media-wise, we'd love him because he's a very energetic, fun guy. I saw a list where he was considered the worst coach to win a national championship. Mike Farrell, who's more of a recruiting guy, but he's big in college football. He actually has the top. Who do you think the five worst coaches to win a national championship are, John, in your mind?
The 5 worst coaches to win a national championship.
It's within the last 20 years, I believe. Or 25 years, maybe.
Last 25 years, gosh, I'm gonna have to go back and think of the teams that won. Well, Ed O would probably be.
Ed's one.
He's one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I don't. I'm drawing a blank on even. Who
Larry
the teams
Coker's got to
were.
be one.
Oh, at Miami, yeah.
No, well, yes. Here they are from the bottom, from the top 5. Number 5, Les Miles, also at LSU.
Yeah.
Number 4, Larry Coker.
Okay, Miami.
Number 3, Gene Chizik.
Okay.
Who's actually doing a really good job as a defensive coordinator. Where is he? He's at North Carolina, I believe. Under Mac Brown, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He won the national championship with Auburn, for those of you who don't remember. Number 2, this guy might be available from Michigan State. I wouldn't want him. Jimbo Fisher. God,
you imagine him in East Lansing.
He won at Florida State. Well, he certainly is good at fundraising.
Yes, his own funds.
Exactly. Let's go to John in Westland. You're 97 on the ticket.
Hey, good morning, guys. Jansen, you asked the question if you would want Spartan fans would want all the mess that comes with Urban Meyer, the possible scandal and everything. And, as a Spartan fan, I would not care. I would take it. It'd be kind of, Michigan State going full villain towards the Big Ten in a way. And, that say a scandal comes out a few years later after we essentially get a Big Ten championship and a national championship. It wouldn't take away the memories I'd have of watching those games with my kids and rooting for State and enjoying those memories of them winning the national championship. So, yeah, honestly, if Urban Meyer could bring that to Michigan State, I would take it in a heartbeat.
Even if it ends in a house of fire.
Yeah, because you know what? The memories of watching the national championship with my kids and everything, and that would never be taken away. I would be able to celebrate the national championship or a Big Ten championship like you guys have been able to the past 2 years, and it would be one of those things okay, maybe he has a Ryan Day, a disciple behind him that he brought in on the coaching staff as well that could keep it going as well,
I get that, yeah.
Maybe I ask Louisville basketball fans, right? Louisville basketball fans.
Exactly.
They probably don't care. And they're, although they didn't win it, there are a lot of Michigan basketball fans who you can take down those banners, but the Fab Five will never go away from me.
There any good Italian restaurants up in East Lansing? That's a Rick Pitino thing.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Let's go to Mike in Beverly Hills.
Hey, guys. Great show. I'm loving this walk down Michigan football memory lane. So real quick, a two-part question. One is, had the transfer portal been a thing back then, would Tom Brady or any other prominent players likely have entered it? And then secondly, John, I was wondering, at what age you really knew that you were going to be a Michigan Wolverine, and if that weren't an option, what would have been your second choice in terms of schools?
Well, I can't speak for the other guys in terms of whether they would have entered the transfer portal or not. That's kind of always the question, especially with Tom, with losing that quarterback battle. We see it now.
He almost went to Cal, right? Lloyd convinced him to stay.
Yeah. So if it was easier at that time and instantly eligible, I think it would be ridiculous to think that some guys wouldn't have made the jump.
Yes.
In regards to if it wasn't Michigan, so when I was growing up, I mean, until I was, being recruited, I never really thought about where I would go. And then as soon as I was Michigan, I simply was waiting for Gary Moeller to say the words, hey, we'd like to offer you a scholarship. And as soon as he did, I jumped at it. I had a number of scholarships offered, but October 2 of that year was when I made that commitment. And Wisconsin was another place that I had heavily considered because it would have been an opportunity to play both football and basketball.
Oh.
So it was, and Wisconsin was.
God, I didn't realize you liked boring styles of play. Because both of them were boring back then.
Yes.
Right?
It's just about playing.
Yes, I know. All right, it's time for news, and here's Heather.
So Detroit Metro Airport was just ranked number 1 in North America for customer satisfaction.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, way to go. The J.D. Power Annual Customer Satisfaction Survey was just revealed, and Detroit Metro Airport scored 800 points out of 1,000 in the Mega Airport category. So the Mega Airport category are any hubs that see 33 million or more passengers a year. And the ranking is actually 9 points higher than what the airport scored last year in the study, and it's 14 points more than when they previously won the award in 2019.
Wow.
So way to go.
Always improving.
Yeah, they were followed by Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. They came in second, and then Harry Reid International Airport in Nevada came in third.
Las Vegas Airport, that's right. I love Metro. It's really a nice airport. It used to be it used to be one of the worst.
Sure, yeah. I mean, then the new terminal was built.
Yes, and the other terminal. Yep.
Yeah.
Google is actually being sued by a family of a man who died after he drove his car off of a bridge while he was following Google Maps.
Oh, boy.
So he had his directions going on, and the bridge was collapsed. It was out of service, and it's been out of commission for years, right? But the maps had never been updated. So the family is suing for negligence. They say Google had been informed about this collapsed bridge forever and just failed to do anything about it. This man, he drowned after his Jeep Gladiator plunged into the creek. He was driving home from his daughter's 9th birthday party. Going away, he had never been in an area he wasn't familiar with. The maps told him to cross the bridge. The bridge had collapsed 9 years prior. So like I said, it had been a collapsed bridge for a long, long time. It happened last year in September. And at the time, state troopers did confirm that there were no barriers. There were no warning signs.
Where was this again?
This was in North Carolina. Well, the family's from North Carolina. Okay. So I'm guessing that's where he was driving. Even if he wasn't following his maps, there were still no road signs or signs on the bridge that said, hey, do not cross. This bridge is unacceptable to cross. And he crashed about 20 feet into this creek below.
Well, I think there's a lot of culpability there. There's Google Maps, yes, but there's also
the Road Commission.
Who's ever in charge of that. And there's probably some operator error as well.
Yes, there is, I would imagine. But yes, so not only is Google being sued, but a lot of the companies that were managing that bridge as well are also named in this lawsuit.
How, if there wasn't any markings, how was this the only one in 9 years?
There had to have been another bridge, but maybe...
another accident.
Another accident, yeah.
Of course there has to be another bridge. There's got to be a way over
go
this
Dukes of Hazzard style.
Little Thelma and Louise there.
I am guessing that the average driver would be able to tell...
that there's no road.
Right, but... I don't know. I've never seen it. Yes. Tiger Woods and Justin Timberlake, they have teamed up and they just opened this brand new bar, restaurant, sports bar in New York City. It's called T Squared Social, and they say this bar, restaurant, entertainment destination features elevated cuisine, craft cocktails, state-of-the-art full-swing simulators, duckpin bowling, darts, and, of course, a whole bunch of televisions that you can watch sports on. I checked it out. I looked at the photos.
Yeah.
It
looks cool.
It looks really cool. It's kind of swanky, but there's still like all of these things you can do while you watch sports. It looks like the drinks are probably real good. The food is probably decent too. They said they came up with the idea over a round of golf. Yeah, good for them. I hope it's successful. So there's a poker player that has been caught in a huge web of lies after he actually faked having a terminal cancer in order to raise money so that he could get to the World Series of Poker main event. So back in April, Rob Mercer came up with this lie in an effort to get $10,000. That's how much he needed to get to the table, right? Mm-hmm. Well, he created a GoFundMe and he created a story and he said that he had terminal colon cancer and he raised $30,000 to $50,000, way more than he needed, got to the table, but then people started getting suspicious, right? Like he wasn't able to answer a lot of questions about his condition. He couldn't provide any proof that he did actually have this terminal cancer, and people called him out. So he has confessed to everything. He's now apologizing, but he's not going to return any of the money, so he says, because he says he does believe that he has undiagnosed breast cancer. And he was ashamed to come forward with that because it's a cancer that typically men don't get diagnosed with. So he
believes. He doesn't have there's no documentation.
He believes. So he's going to keep the money because he believes he still does, in fact, have cancer.
Well, give me $10,000 because I believe I have earlobe cancer.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
Thoughts and prayers.
I believe it is. And as Jim Harbaugh told us last year, John, it's better to be called an ass blank than an earlobe because an earlobe has no function. At least an ass blank does. Remember when he said, he hugged me, you're our ass.
Yes. And now he added to that you're mostly right.
Yes, exactly. All right. Thank you very much, Heather. Our telephone number 248-539-9797.
Hey guys, it's Heather. Did you know that the YMCA in Metro Detroit makes it easier for you to achieve your fitness goals? YMCA memberships are just $3 a day, and that's less than one night of babysitting for access to all the great Y amenities for everyone, including indoor lap and family swimming, group exercise classes, including strength training and yoga, open gym facilities, even pickleball. And take advantage of the YMCA's childcare after school and while you work out. Learn more at ymcadetroit.org and find your why today.
Here's the thing about Gibbs is he needs to touch the ball more. We need to get more production out of him. He's a first-round pick, number 12 overall. And right now, he's got 23 touches. That in 2 games.
Didn't Bijan have around 23 just on this Sunday?
Right. And whether it's and what Jahmyr Gibbs brings to this offense is the opportunity to be very creative. And that's where TJ and I talked about it yesterday on the podcast. Where's the creativity been in this offense? Last year with Amon-Ra St. Brown, we saw him line up in the backfield. We saw him line up everywhere. And we saw one play on a 4th down conversion to
248-539-9797 is the telephone number. Last night, myself, my wife, and my daughter, we watched the Kelsey documentary, which was more on Jason than Travis, but Travis was in there a lot. I didn't realize how often they see each other, even on off days during the season. It appeared.
But yeah, because they do that podcast together. Are you talking about see each other just on video, right?
No. I'm even he was in Philly a couple of times during the season. It seemed I don't know. Anyway, and taking my Philly stuff out of it, the Philly, because it was Philly centric.
Yeah.
Just knowing you the way I do, and seeing Jason Kelsey go through what he went through with injuries and talking about how he's at 35 years old and he knows he'll never be able to walk the same, and worrying about down the road, will he have CTE, and deciding whether he was going to come back for this year or not. It's a fascinating world, besides how a whole season goes, but just coming to grips with a lot of things as an offensive lineman.
Sure.
Because the quarterback is the one, obviously gets all the play from the Netflix documentary. This was pretty interesting as well.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yes.
And it'll be, I at some point I will take a look at it, and probably an off-season watch for me.
248-539-9797 is the telephone number. Speaking of those injuries, the Lions have quite a few.
A number of them, yes.
The injury report yesterday about who practiced and didn't practice was not too good. And you can just read the names off, between Decker and St. Brown and Mosley and Montgomery and Vaitai.
Kirby Joseph
as well, yes. And we know Gardner Johnson was put on the IR. James Houston was put on the IR. So riddle me this, Batman. Of all the injuries that the Lions have, which one are you worried the most about? How it'll affect them more maybe this week, not so much down the road.
Right.
Well, obviously the ones on IR
in the moment.
Term, yes.
And so this really comes down to a chicken or egg situation. And the chicken is David Montgomery. And I'm not calling him a chicken, but this is the fact that this offense for Jared Goff and the success of this offense, Jared Goff has been very good at play action. They have been fairly good when Montgomery is in there of running the football and setting the rest of the offense up. And obviously one of the beneficiaries of that is Amon-Ra St. Brown. If David Montgomery is not there, Jahmyr Gibbs is not the guy that I think is a in-between-the-tackles style of runner. He's going to be on the edge. He's going to be a guy you toss the ball to, throw the ball to, and hopefully you get him in space more, but they don't have a guy like David Montgomery on the roster. And so if he's not there, you don't get the benefit of play-action pass, and that's where Jared Goff has had most of his success, or the most success. He's been good in other ways. I think it's David Montgomery. You could say Amon-Ra St. Brown, but to me, it's harder to get him the ball, or whoever else, the wide receivers of the ball, if you don't have Montgomery running the ball or setting up the play-action pass.
That's all true, but their wide receiving core is so thin to begin with. If you take away their best one, you're really relying on Marvin Jones, who hasn't shown much this season yet. Josh Reynolds, who's actually played better than many people like myself thought he would play.
Yeah.
You're relying on your rookie tight end as well, and Samuel Laporta as far as the passing game is. I don't see how they can, be really effective offensively without St. Brown.
So I agree with Stoney here, and all your points are great.
Yeah,
I think Montgomery's probably number 2 in
right,
my
it's
world.
chicken or the egg. He's right.
Exactly. But I think if you had Jameson Williams playing, then I would actually go Montgomery, because Jahmyr Gibbs is the same thing as Jameson Williams is in terms of depth. I got to say, I know we talked about this earlier, but kind of little bell went off in my head with all this. Isn't it a little bit indicting of Brad Holmes that David Montgomery not playing in this game is a problem for this team? Your number one problem? I mean, you drafted your 12th overall pick.
Yeah,
okay,
for sure it is. Yeah, they're not enough touches. You draft a guy number 12 overall.
He better get more touches in this week.
This is his coming out party.
Yes.
This whole thing, I don't remember this talk of him not being able to run between the tackles when they drafted him.
Right.
I think it's getting a little overblown, to be honest with you. I don't know where to me, this is the definition of a narrative. Look, is David Montgomery the better at it? Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll give you that. But this narrative that Jahmyr Gibbs can't run between the tackles, I don't know where this is coming from.
He better be able to. That's all there is. I mean, you're not going to rely on Craig Reynolds.
We did scouting reports. You read their profile or whatever when they get drafted. Flaw, can't run between the tackles. That wasn't there. That's make-believe. It's fake news.
248-539-9797. By the way,
use them that way.
If you care about the betting thing, this game opened, the Lions were 5.5-point favorites. It's down to 3.5, actually 3 in some parts. The money line, the Lions were minus 250. Now they're minus 168. The total has stayed at 40. No, actually, it went down from 45.5 to 46.5. It went up. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. This game is, I believe, going to be a lot tougher than we thought when the schedule was released, and part of that is because of the injuries. Now, if you are a really good team, no matter how many injuries you have to suck it up and come out. I don't care about covering. I don't care about any of that crap. You have to win this football game if you are serious.
Yeah, if you're a contender for your division, if you're a contender to win a playoff game, you've got to find a way to win this game. I don't care how many guys are down because you're going up against it's Jared Goff versus Desmond Ridder. Like that in and of itself, you should have the advantage. We always talk about who's got the advantage going in with the quarterback position. I think it's clear cut. The better quarterback in this game is Jared Goff. So he needs to go out there and perform as such and go out there and win this game. And here's the other thing. Of those injuries that we talked about, what is the one thing that we know about Atlanta? What offensively, what are they best at?
They are going to run the hell out of the ball. Campbell said it yesterday. They're just going to pound.
Out of all those injuries, they're going to try to remove your soul. Out of all those injuries, did I mention one defensive lineman or linebacker?
No, but I know so far this season they haven't given up a lot of yardage, between the tackles, so to speak. But it does worry me when you have somebody like Bijan Robinson, though. Sure,
but what do we know? I mean, when did Aleem McNeil start to really play good last year?
At the Meadowlands against the Giants, right?
And Saquon Barkley. Mm-hmm. This is where Aleem McNeil has been pretty much silent. And I'm not going to say he hasn't done anything because a lot of what they do goes unnoticed. Levi Onwuzurike. Bugs hasn't been in there. Maybe this is the first opportunity that he gets to get in there simply because of roster spots. Mm-hmm. You could have another guy available. This is an opportunity for this defensive front to step up when this team needs them.
Yes, absolutely. 248-539-9797. And I'll ask this question, and I know my answer. Is a loss acceptable because of all the injuries? 97 won the ticket.
Deep breath. This month, check out the exciting sales events happening at Fox Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Southfield. Shop Ram Power Days and Jeep Adventure Days to find great deals on new vehicles. Lease a 2023 Jeep Compass starting at only $269 a month, or a 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn starting at only $299 a month. The best part is Fox CDJR of Southfield's easy 3-step process for purchasing a vehicle. First, work with the expert product specialist to pick out the perfect vehicle for your family. Next, the team will help you find the best price or payment for your budget. And finally, after you say yes to your new ride, take delivery in less than an hour with their expert delivery team. Stop by the dealership today at 11 and a half at Telegraph for the best guest experience you've ever had, or you can visit them online at Fox Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Southfield.com. That's Fox Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Southfield.com. See dealer for complete details based on bank approval, proper and required documentation, including employee number, registration, and funds. Here's the thing about Gibbs is he needs to touch the ball more. We need to get more production out of him. He's a first-round pick, number 12 overall, and right now he's got 23 touches. That in 2 games.
Didn't Bijan have around 23 just on this Sunday?
Right, and whether it's and what Jahmyr Gibbs brings to this offense is the opportunity to be very creative, and that's where TJ and I talked about it yesterday on the podcast. Where's the creativity been in this offense? Last year with Amon-Ra St. Brown, we saw him line up in the backfield. We saw him line up everywhere. And we saw one play on a 4th down conversion to Amon-Ra St. Brown. One play that we look at and we say, okay, that's creative. We saw the flea flicker. That was creative. It created a touchdown.
He had one other play because I remember saying a Gator. I don't remember.
But with Jahmyr Gibbs, I would expect to see more creativity with how you use him.
Two 248-539-9797. We have some ticket text as far as which injury is the most devastating of all the ones that the Lions are having right now, as far as guys who were not able to suit up on Sunday. Now, we don't know for sure whether St. Brown will be playing. He didn't practice yesterday. Either did Montgomery, either did Decker, either did Vaitai, either did Joseph, yada, yada, yada. They have a lot of them.
Yep.
Definitely Montgomery, says Lance. Consistent 3 or 4 yard gains, open up play action, and he picks up blitz way better. Love the show. Thank you, Lance. So we drafted a third down back at 12. Wow. Well,
he needs to be more than that.
Exactly.
And so far this year, last week against Seattle at home was the most work that Jahmyr Gibbs got. 7 catches, 7 runs.
Right. 14 touches, which is more than he did in week 1. So.
Right. So, and the trajectory better keep going that way.
Well,
it's going to be forced to go that way.
Yes.
He's going to have to get more touches, but you also have to get more production out of those touches.
Absolutely.
I'm maybe a jerk here, but just ask the question, okay? Man, it might be a dumb one. No stupid questions around here, right?
No, there are.
Okay.
I'll let you know if you do.
Hindsight, maybe have gotten Gibbs a little more preseason work with running between the tackles? That is a dumb question. I can tell by the nonverbal.
Yeah. My answer is always going to be yes, especially for a rookie. I can learn to accept different situations where you don't want to get Jared Goff hurt. You don't want to get your offensive linemen who are veteran offensive linemen hurt. But, Jack Campbell got a lot of work in the preseason. And he's right now not starting. I would like to see him play more. I think he's a really good player.
You think he's better than Rodriguez?
I do. Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But rookies need time to adjust to the NFL. I don't care what program you come from. You come from Alabama, you come from Michigan, Ohio State, USC. You need transition time to get up to speed for what the NFL is.
I know the answer from you would be like what Woj would say, both. But you could argue that in those controlled, whatever you want to call it, workouts with the Jaguars and the Giants going up against number ones was better preparation than playing against second or third stringers that the other teams would have had out there as well.
But if they're taking the regular season to ramp him up, where you're getting more in week 2 than you got in week 1, then why not do that in the preseason?
Okay, so I think who's the comparison guy that Gibbs has been compared to the most? Kind of what they want his role.
Kamara.
Yeah. Guess who played a lot of preseason football his rookie year?
Kamara.
Yeah. And he actually blossomed, and I'm not making a fantasy football argument, okay? He emerged on people who follow stuff closely as a sleeper that year. He came out of nowhere to the casual fan.
Oh, yeah, because the Lions took Chase Tabor instead of him.
You went there, not me.
I know.
When you watch that much film on a guy.
Exactly.
I mean, this is the game, and he should be motivated. He's going against the guy that got drafted ahead of him.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Dan Campbell on that staff that played him in the preseason?
Yes.
Well,
but it's changed.
Yes.
COVID affected how preseasons of 3 games affected things.
Right.
The workouts with the 2 teams have affected things. So I get it, and I'm just asking the question.
Right. The answer to the question I had going into the break, by the way, with all the injuries, is a loss acceptable? There's a difference between understanding and acceptability. I would understand it, but I wouldn't accept it.
No.
I mean, this is why you are a alleged division-winning team.
Yes.
Because you have enough depth on your roster that you can overcome this stuff.
And you also in a division where the division sucks.
True.
But here's my thing. When you draft a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs and you had the number 6 overall pick, we've talked about Jalen Carter. I'm not going to bring him up right now. But at 6, you had an opportunity to either take Bijan Robinson, who was gone at 8, so he was on the board. Now you have Jahmyr Gibbs that you trade back for. And then we saw the whole, Lions Den video and all that stuff, and we saw how excited they were to get Jahmyr Gibbs. Like it was an elbow to the groin from Brad Holmes to Dan Campbell that they were so excited to get Jahmyr Gibbs, yet we've only seen him last week Touched the ball 14 times.
But we didn't see the video of how pissed they were that Seattle took Weatherspoon, or maybe how pissed they were that Atlanta took Bijan. We don't know.
Okay.
Right,
well, then,
I know.
But when you have that type of reaction to getting a player,
I know you expect
and
him to
you
be
draft
used.
a guy that high, that of a position that we don't think deserves to be drafted that high, and then you only use him. You only get 14 touches in week 2.
And the other thing is they had 14 guys with first-round grades and got 2 of them. Remember that?
Yeah.
So
Maybe their grading system's a little weird.
this isn't even about Jalen Carter at this point and
No.
what they should have done. This is about Jahmyr Gibbs being a good NFL running back, and it's the easiest position, or arguably, to transition from college to pro. And maybe it's opportunity too, a little bit, that he, not trying to be hard on what I'm not trying to be critical of him, but he should be able to step into this role that Montgomery might not if he's not there.
He shouldn't have
not-
dropped that easy pass last week either.
Yeah, but I told you that before the season. Some of the hiccups early on, we were counting on rookies. Rookies
Right.
drop passes, okay? We have got to be able to accept that. Now, if that continues, that's a problem.
This
I'm not
is
going to get on.
I'm not getting on Gibbs for this. I'm getting on Ben Johnson and the coaching staff because he needs to be a bigger part of this offense.
Right.
Needs to be a much bigger part of this offense. Through 2 games, that to me should have been 1 game's totals. He touched the ball 25 times. 23 times. He had 14 carries, 9 receptions. That, at a minimum, should be 1 game's touches for Jahmyr Gibbs.
Frank in Clinton Township texts in, Noah loss is not acceptable even with the injuries because of the standard Brad Holmes set in his presser before the season started. He expects to consistently win games this season and be a contender. I don't remember his exact words, okay? Don't you think Chief fans were saying that even without Kelsey and Jones, they should find a way to beat the Lions at home when they're the better team? Mahomes versus Goff? While it's true injuries are part of the game, not all good teams can overcome them. The Chiefs are still a good team. When their key guys are healthy and playing, so are the Lions, I think. So even if they lose this game, I'm not giving up on the season. That's from Jeremy.
No.
Nobody's saying to give up on the season. Even if you think the loss is unacceptable, you're still 1-2. The problem with the Lions taking Gibbs is because they view him as a change of pace back, just like they did with DeAndre Swift. They're always going to limit his touches, which is why you don't take that type of a guy 12. We can't keep losing to teams going for the same playoff spots as us.
Exactly. Yep. NFC teams. You lost to Seattle already.
Yes.
Atlanta, you can't lose to.
No. And, you want to make the similarity with Swift. Wasn't it in his first game as a pro against the Bears? Opening game, he dropped a touchdown pass that would have won the game.
Yeah.
At the very end of the game, yeah.
You can't lose to Desmond Ridder at home. I know that's a very simple way to look at it. That's
Yes.
how I feel about
Yep.
this
Yes.
game. I'm not going to take you serious as a football team if you can't beat that garbage quarterback at home. I can't.
Yep. 248-539-9797 is the telephone number. Hey, coming up after Chris Villar's update, we'll tell you how you can be in attendance at Ford Field to watch them take on that garbage quarterback. 97 won the ticket.
Brought to you by CGC Water Treatment. Injuries up and down the Lions lineup, with the practice squad not shedding a lot of optimism on their situation. 6 players could not participate yesterday, including Amon-Ra St. Brown, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and James Houston already could be missing for the entire year, but Jared Goff is not wavering on the guys who would be filling in as their season does continue. Goff also says that route running and catching ability of rookie Jahmyr Gibbs has come a long way since training camp, with his role likely to be expanded if Montgomery is out for extended time. He was also impressed with Penei Sewell's ability to move to the left side with Taylor Decker out. Forwarded through the final in L.A., the Tigers avoided a sweep behind solid pitching and timely hits. Kerry Carpenter scoring twice, Torque, Ibanez, Nevin, and Kelly all driving in runs. Reese Olson earning his 3rd win in his last 4 starts with a 6-inning gem on the road. Miguel Diaz and Will Vest took care of the final 3 innings. And as the Pistons finished up their community basketball court project, guard Jaden Ivey discussed the team's upcoming season with new head coach Monty Williams coming in. He says the team seems very confident right now and are ready to prove people wrong this year. Detroit's preseason schedule begins on October the 8th. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Chris Villar. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket and Odyssey.com.
Thank you, Chris. 248-539-9797. I also heard that Jaden Ivey said Cade Cunningham's going to be scary this year, which is great news if it's true. He had a great summer. Hopefully,
that'd be good.
Hopefully he'll be healthy. All right. Your chance, ladies and gentlemen, to win a 4-pack of tickets to see the Lions take on Atlanta this Sunday at Ford Field and passes to the Lions VIP tailgate at Eastern Market by the Bullseye Group. The Lions VIP tailgate is backed by the Bullseye Event Group. All you can eat an open bar for 3 hours before kickoff. Go to bullseyeeventgroup.com for tickets today. When you hear a real live falcon screeching, be the 5th caller at 248-539-9797. When I mean a real live falcon, I mean a bird, not an Atlanta falcon screeching.
Right. Yes. Hopefully they'll be screeching to a halt.
Yes.
We will not be bringing one in the studio. We have a drop of it.
Yes.
For the record.
All right.
And by the way, after the game, if you're out at Ford Field, please stop by the WinBet Sports book.
Say hi to yourself.
The bar. Yeah. Say hello to myself and Jennifer Hammond. We'll be there having a wonderful time. Hopefully we'll be taking more positive calls than we took last Sunday.
Yes, that would be the goal.
Yes, indeed. There is a college football game that takes place Saturday evening in South Bend, Indiana, between two teams that, quite frankly, I and many of you can't stand either one. And, of course, there are fans of both as well. And that is Ohio State taking on the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Simple question. If you're a Michigan fan, who are you rooting for? Now, there are reasons to actually root for both teams.
Yeah.
I don't hate Notre Dame quite as much as I used to. However...
Oh, you go see Rudy today?
No. I'm not going to go see Rudy today. But they did, in the Kelsey thing, they compared him as they walk on to Rudy, by the way, when he was at Cincinnati.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm rooting for the Fighting Irish.
Why?
Because I like Ohio State less, shall we say. I hate Ohio State more than I hate Notre Dame.
Okay.
And I understand that it's probably better for Michigan if Ohio State goes into that game undefeated. If they're both undefeated, it gives the Big Ten, more props, things like that. I don't care. As I always say, it's a great day in America when the Cowboys or the Buckeyes lose. It's a national holiday when they both lose on the same weekend. And I don't see the Cowboys losing anytime soon, unfortunately. So
not this weekend.
It's time for the Fighting Irish and my boy Rocco Spindler to kick some Buckeye ass.
Yeah. And for Rocco, I think that would be, I would lean that way. However, this is a game where I feel like I really can't lose, because if Ohio State loses, it's so sweet.
Yes.
It's so sweet. If Ohio State wins, that means they're one step closer to getting to the end of the season undefeated, where they will come to their first loss, and that is against Michigan in the Big House. I would prefer every single week for Michigan to play, whether it's Michigan State, it's Penn State, it's whatever opponent
undefeated
it is.
Rutgers this week.
For them to come to their demise at the hands of the Wolverines. That, to me, is, if you're trying to build a resume, which everybody right now is trying to build a resume.
Believe me, I understand that. I'm not going to argue with you.
With Michigan's limited opportunities to build a resume.
Okay.
Because if Ohio State loses to Notre Dame, if they were to lose to Penn State, they get to the end of the season, they've got those two losses.
Right.
And that's, to me, just not something that I
But they would still, if they won that game, they'd still be the Big Ten champs. They'd still be in the playoffs. So you don't have nothing to worry about.
I agree, but it's just more satisfying.
I just can't
to beat them as
undecided. So, John, you're watching that game, and McCord finds Harrison for the winning touchdown with 10 seconds left. You're going to go, yeah!
I won't jump up and shout.
Are you going to do that for Notre Dame?
Probably not.
That's
but
why I was going to argue. You're not really rooting because that's the point I was going to make.
No, if
Well,
I end
who
up
do you
rooting
want to
for
win?
anyone in this
I
game, I'll
hope-
vomit on myself.
I hope Notre Dame wins, but I'm not going to be sitting there going crazy.
I'd rather go get that Apple Watch than cheer for one of these teams.
Oh my!
Dive in head first.
No. Oh, no.
We need to set that up.
I'm rooting for Ohio State, or I want Ohio State to win.
Correct.
Because A, it helps Michigan, and B, I hate Notre Dame. Ohio State doesn't have in their closet, for me at least as a Michigan
Right,
fan,
I get it.
Rocket Ishmael, Lake Dawson, Reggie Ho,
Reggie Ho.
Lou Holtz, ruining Michigan seasons because they always played non-conference all the time growing up.
Mm-hmm.
I hate them.
I despise them too.
The only thing I at least respect from them is the fight song.
Yes.
I hate the leprechaun guy. I hate that they get luck that other teams don't. I hate that they get benefit of the doubt that other teams don't when it comes to national titles.
Well, they haven't in a really long time.
I hate Beano Cook. I hate Ron Powless.
Yeah.
Well,
and this,
Beano Cook's dead.
We talked about this a little bit yesterday.
This shows how deep it is.
I
for
know.
me.
I believe me, I
this
get it.
effectively, in my opinion, would eliminate. I mean, there's other ways for them to get into the college football playoffs, but if Ohio State wins, to me, it somewhat eliminates Notre Dame from postseason play, or college football playoff postseason play.
I think if they,
Me too.
I think if
But
they,
it won't.
if they can win, if they beat USC and that's their only loss, they might still be able to get in
And that's
because the SEC is not really. The SEC might not have two teams this year.
Yeah,
That's the
but
benefit
you
of the doubt,
might
though,
have
thing.
a Pac-12 team, which you haven't had in 6 years.
True, but not of Notre Dame. Well, yeah, because Notre Dame beats USC. I think the Pac-12, by the way, is just going to cannibalize themselves.
They could. They very well could. So it depends on who is the Pac-12 champ and how many losses they may or may not have.
Mm-hmm.
You obviously have somebody coming out of the Big 12. Is that going to be Texas this year? I mean, this could be their opportunity
Yeah, you
to
would
make
think
the
so.
college football playoffs.
Unless they gag at the Red River Shootout.
Right. Then the Big 10 champ most likely is in the college football playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
What happens with the SEC champ? We haven't even talked about the ACC. And so that's where I get to if Notre Dame has a loss and they've only got two premier games. One of them is Ohio State. The other one is USC. They lose one of them.
Who are their ACC opponents this year? I know they've already beat NC State on the road.
Clemson. I know. I don't remember who that. I know they play Clemson.
By the way, Gov brought up Lou Holtz, and that's how far back and deep your hate for Notre Dame goes. In the book Mountaintop, you know what I didn't know, John?
What?
That Lou Holtz wanted to hire Lloyd Carr before they made the switch to make him defensive coordinator in Michigan. He wanted to hire him on his staff. Kind of interesting.
Yeah. There's a lot of.
So
no Michigan man would accept that job.
Yeah, Greg Madison.
Greg Madison did.
Greg Madison.
He's an Ohio State guy
Columbus,
too.
Yeah. Who's Greg Madison rooting for?
I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I mean, he coached at both places.
I know. Where else he coached? He coached Florida too, right?
Well, I know in the NFL he was at Baltimore.
Yeah, I know that.
But I don't know in college. I don't remember where he was before that.
When did your hatred for Notre Dame begin? Did you have a hatred for Notre Dame?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I mean, that was when you go back to in the whole thing about Bo, and then he wanted that game to be the first game of the year, and then Notre Dame scheduled a game ahead of them, and that whole deal. Yeah, I mean, this has been one that's been brewing kind of since birth.
Right. Mine went back to when I was a kid because on Sunday mornings there used to be this show, kind of like what Inside Michigan Football is. Notre Dame would have in Philadelphia. I'd have to watch 30 minutes of Notre Dame highlights, and I wanted to know why I couldn't watch Penn State, who I liked back, because that's where I grew up.
Yeah.
And
Great reason to hate them.
And I just thought Notre Dame was just shoved down our throats, and I just hated them. I still do hate them.
Well, and for me, in high school, our we started the season off with Bishop Foley, and they had the same uniforms as as Notre Dame, the gold helmet, and then so it just ran even a little bit deeper.
I think Notre Dame, for the most part, and I know you'll probably find examples to go against me, it's pretty much a clean program as opposed to Ohio State.
I would be hard to argue that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that one.
Good.
I mean, they can be clean. I can still not like them.
Don't let them con you. The whole
No,
Catholic thing. And
no, it's not that. It's just
TJ,
The whole
TDJ.
I was on that campus. I was on that campus.
the whole Catholic thing.
This.
Touchdown Jesus. I know.
I love Jesus. I don't like touchdown Jesus.
Yes, the Jesus.
You like up north Jesus better.
And touchdown Jesus.
Some ticket text. I hate both teams. Ohio State could potentially knock Notre Dame out of the playoffs, and then we can knock off Ohio State. Rick from
there you go.
There you go. That's a good one. Ohio State to take care of business there. Plus, it's better for Michigan's resume. If Ohio State loses, then Michigan can eliminate them from a chance of a playoff. Ohio State ends with one loss. They can still make the playoffs like last year, Nate Nakar. I don't know. It's going to be tough this year for a one-loss team, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, if Ohio State loses to Notre Dame, but then they run the table,
yeah,
they're going to be in.
We don't want Notre Dame beating Big Ten teams, considering Notre Dame won't join the Big Ten. Like Bo says, the hell with Notre Dame. Yep. That's another reason to hate Notre Dame, too. Yes, yep. I agree. That's why I'd rather them win than Ohio State. I want Notre Dame to win for the possibility of Notre Dame versus Michigan national championship matchup with Michigan winning. Oh, my God. Could you imagine?
Be awesome.
They'd have to play that game and shift it somewhere to the Arrogant Bowl.
How about this? The Rose Bowl is one of the two semifinals this year. The
right.
College football playoff is on New Year's Day again this year, and it's the first playoff game. What if Michigan played Notre Dame in the Rose Bowl in the playoff?
That would be awesome.
That would be fun.
It would be great. I mean,
I'd rather see Michigan play USC just to have that last semblance of, hey, the Pac-12 is going away, and you get the Pac-12 and the Big Ten in the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. Come on.
No, because then if Michigan loses, it'll be another excuse. Oh, the USC had more fans there.
Oh, stop it.
I've heard that excuse before why Big Ten teams can't win the Rose Bowl. I'm not making that up.
At least the games aren't in Glendale this year because of the field issues.
That's right. 248-539-9797.
I'd prefer to not be here right now. Welcome in. People, I thought we were done with it. I thought we were done with having to lower our expectations, but that's where I'm at. It's a beautiful day here in Detroit. It's a beautiful life. But I have to tell you, I have to lower my expectations for this team because they're not ready for it. They're not ready to deliver on what I thought they were ready to deliver on. Because yesterday was unforgivable. That was as rat-ass, sloppy, nonsense a performance as you're going to see. 10 days rest, coming home, a team coming to town who has no playmakers up front and has street free agents at both tackle spots. You hit the quarterback one time. This team went out and made mistakes that they just don't make. And whether it's, I got a real problem with one of the fourth downs, but that's fine. The fumble to come out of the half, to flip the game on its ear. This defense on third down, able to do nothing. Nothing. And Rico's BFF, Geno Smith, beats us again.
248-539-9797. By the way, the father of Rocco has texted me. Thanks for the shout out.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Excited. He's playing well.
Yes, he is. He finally got to play.
Yeah. They paid his dues.
And he says it's going to be a tough one. He says Ohio State has tons of D-line talent. And Notre Dame Rocco plays on the offensive line.
You should have hit up the spin dog to get you to this game.
No.
You wouldn't. Why not?
This time you could have a doubleheader.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because it's a noon game in Ann Arbor. You hit the road. I know there are a number of people I've talked to are doing that.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They're doing the game in Ann Arbor. And then they're
if I didn't have to come
Bend.
back to Ford Field for the Lions and the Falcons.
You could have had the
I understand.
the triple header.
Yeah. I'm not.
What's the deal?
You're not 42 anymore?
Bruce's birthday. That's why.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Saturday's Bruce's birthday. That's why.
That's right.
He's got to go home and play the
Have the
75
birthday cake.
album.
Yeah.
No, I'm going
light the candle.
I'm going to House of Karsh after watch the Ohio State Notre Dame game. That's right. Bob and Troy, you're 97 on the ticket.
Then home.
Hey guys, I'm surprised Gov didn't catch this. John a little bit, only been there for a few years, but Stoney, every year you say at least a handful of times it's a national holiday. The Cowboys and Notre Dame lose. And I was like, I couldn't agree more 100%. And now all of a sudden you say Ohio State. I've never heard you say Dallas and Ohio State.
Last couple years I have. I wouldn't call it a flip-flop. My hate level for Notre Dame is still pretty much the same, but my hate level for Ohio State has surpassed them. Because you know why that is?
Grumpy old man on one side and soft on the other.
You know why that is? Because when I was Notre Dame fans are at least respectful. They're at least decent human beings. Oh. No, they are. If you've ever been to a game there, they're really nice.
Yeah, but this is where this is another thing I don't understand why you flip flop, because I know you said it last year, the Notre Dame Dallas thing, but why would you want Ohio State losing to Notre Dame when you're a Michigan fan? You want to beat those crappy fans. You want to beat that crappy fan base on the last game of the season.
I still want them to do that.
Preach.
All right.
You want Notre Dame?
I mean, that's the way it is. I just you are like a flip flopper.
No, I'm not. Four years ago, you would be correct. The last couple of years, it's been the Cowboys and the Buckeyes. The last couple of years.
I never heard you once say that until today. That's
I've said it a lot, especially last year. Last 2 years, I've said it a lot. Anyway, but yes.
The guy in his golden years is falling in love with the Golden Dome.
I wouldn't exactly say falling in love, I'll tell you that.
Rudy.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Maybe we need to get him to watch it so he'll hate them more.
He could put it on one of the TVs at the Karsh house, the House of Karsh.
Okay.
He's got a couple down there.
Or we could put it on one of the TVs here. Oh, never mind. If Brian Kelly was still there, Notre Dame hatred would be stronger. I would like new coach and team to succeed despite Kelly. That's Dan in Ann Arbor.
Yeah,
Marcus Freeman. He's a Buckeye too.
Their coach is a Buckeye. I mean, there's a whole lot of complications.
I know.
Here.
He played where at Cincinnati though, right? Or did he play at Notre Dame? I know he coached at Cincinnati at one point too.
Who?
Marcus Freeman was the assistant coach at Cincinnati at one point, wasn't he?
Yeah,
or he played there.
No, he played at Ohio State.
All right. I thought there was a Cincinnati connection there. Maybe he was an assistant coach there.
He might have been there.
Yes, and then he went to Ohio State, and then Buckeye fan. I hate TTUN, the team up north, but Notre Shame takes the cake. Go Bucks, Ron and Waterford. Well, of course you're a Buckeye fan. You want them to win. Nationally, I think people hate Michigan and Notre Dame the same. There isn't the same overall hate for Ohio State.
Well, I would disagree with that.
I don't know. From a national point of view, I do think this is a regional thing. I think people are kind of indifferent on the Buckeyes outside the region.
Right. And the state of Pennsylvania.
Like I would
Penn
guess
State fans hate Ohio State immensely.
I would think USC would hate Michigan more than Ohio State.
Well, I mean, USC is the Ohio State of the West, so sure, I get that.
Is that a compliment or a?
No, it's
that's what
how they run their program.
They have in fairness to Ohio State, they haven't had as many of the down periods that USC is.
No, I'm just talking about I dislike them like I like Ohio State.
Right. Okay. Guys, you don't have to have a rooting interest. When Michigan plays Notre Dame, I root for the earth to open up and swallow both programs. That's from Spartan Bob in West Bloomfield.
I hope Bain shows up.
That would be. You know what? There's the winning answer. All right, it's time for Oh, it's not time yet, but what the heck? We'll go to her early. What's
Why
up,
not?
Heather?
Hey, what's going on,
I know.
guys? Just so everybody knows, Powerball players, you now have the chance to win $725 million because
still in
there
the
was
game.
no winner after Wednesday night's drawing. So the next drawing is going to be on Saturday, and it will be the third largest Powerball prize this year. And if you choose the one-time lump sum payout, you'll take home $345.7 million. So good luck to everybody. And speaking of the lottery, there is this Michigan man that thought he was in basically the middle of a prank when he won $4 million on a scratch-off ticket. Whoa. Can you imagine that?
No.
This man, 54 years old, he is remaining anonymous. He says he bought the ticket at a gas station in Grand Rapids, and he actually previously won $50 on a scratch-off, so he was going to invest that money back into more lottery tickets. They were sold out of the $50 instant game ticket, which is what he was going to buy, so he opted for the $30 ticket instead. Turns out it was his lucky day. He got to his car, scratched it off, and it was hard for him to believe. So he called his brother, and his brother was like, you might want to make sure this is not a prank ticket. Like, did they give you a real ticket? Mm-hmm. He looked over all the back. Lo and behold, it was a real ticket, called the lottery office, and he won.
Wow.
$4 million. So he chose the one-time lump sum payout. He took home $2.7 million. He says he plans to pay his bills and to travel.
Good for him.
It's amazing.
Things happen for a reason.
Yeah. I hope they happen to me one day.
Yes.
We were really talking about what we do with all this money, and then we missed the deadline to buy the tickets last night. So I'm glad there was no winner because I would have missed out on it.
Yeah.
Yes. 10 public universities here in Michigan have signed this pact that guarantees admission for students with 3.0 GPAs. The Michigan Assured Admission Pact guarantees admission beginning in the fall of 2024. And they say the goal is to boost admissions as well as just be transparent about the process that colleges go through when considering students to enroll. So those 10 universities, Oakland University, Central, Eastern, Ferris State, Lake Superior State, Northern Michigan, Saginaw Valley State, University of Michigan Flint, U of M Dearborn, and Wayne State University. And the director of undergraduate admissions at OU basically says that this 3.0 GPA pact isn't about lowering the bar, but it's about being upfront about what it will take to get admitted. And he says that there's no better time to go to school and earn that degree and build yourself up for a better future.
That's awesome.
It is.
It's weird because usually they're trying to do anything to get more out-of-state people to come to school because it's more money.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll still get a little bit of both, but they definitely need to keep some of those high school students here in Michigan in Michigan without a doubt. Yes. A 13-year-old is facing charges after making threats toward a Macomb County elementary school over the weekend. Authorities say the teen left a threat on the voicemail of a Mount Clemens school on Saturday. And the teen has now been charged with making a school threat, and they've been denied bond in order to undergo a mental health evacuate your mind evaluation, without a doubt. I don't know if you guys have heard this rumor or these talks, but there's been talks recently that Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson could actually be brothers. So
weren't they in, what was it, True Detective?
Yes.
That was a great show.
So
the first one.
Not only are they buddies, right? They've been friends for a while. They've acted together. They kind of look a little similar. They have a similar look, but Matthew McConaughey's mom actually kind of planted these seeds because apparently she knew Woody Harrelson's dad during a time her and her ex were separated. Ooh. So there's like, she didn't go into detail about how well she knew him, but that she did know him and that they were friends at one period of time.
Friends with benefits.
Yeah,
perhaps. And now these two can actually find out if they are in fact brothers because Maury has kind of stepped up. Maury says he is ready to come out of retirement just for this.
You are not my brother.
Yes. He says they could do it on prime time, do the DNA results right there on live television. Obviously, it's I'm guessing kind of a long shot and a joke, but it's fun. They are also set to star together in a new series titled Brother from Another Mother. So perhaps it's all just a gimmick. But even so, wouldn't that be great? Let's get more involved.
Yes.
I love it.
I love this.
I love it. Stoney, I've got some good news for you. There's a new study that found that we hit peak happiness at the age of 70.
Oh.
So you
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you've got some years to look forward to.
Certainly didn't do it the year of 64, I'll tell you that.
They actually say the study found that our life satisfaction decreases between the ages of 9 and 16. And then after 16, they slowly increase until we get to the age of 70. The bad news is that if you want to have this life satisfaction feeling again, you need to make it to almost 100, because after 70, it decreases one more time. And then
That's
you
'cause
feel
everybody you know is
dead.
Moving on.
Yes.
But they say when you get to age 96,
They're all dead. You get happy again.
Yeah.
'Cause you're like,
you're
well,
happy. So you got to make it to 96.
Got to make it to 96.
96, okay.
My dad made it to
So
96.
he experienced 2 life satisfaction
Yeah.
moments.
Yes.
Those,
Peak
those
happiness.
peaks. Peak happiness he
go.
experienced
Yeah,
twice.
go,
he
Lou.
had his mountaintop experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
So internet sleuths believe that they have discovered or, unveiled a Deshaun Watson burner account on Twitter. So they found this handle. It's at Gainesville's Own, which many believe is a nod to his hometown. And they do say it was just created. It's a brand new account created this month.
You're so good at what you do.
I just keep talking and I don't look. I just keep talking. They say the account has been on a spree of actually responding to tweets that are exclusively about Deshaun Watson.
Oh,
Basically saying that, no, they don't agree with the tweets. Or if they're a positive tweet, then yes, fully in agreement.
Yeah, they
so
like 'em.
perhaps
Yeah.
it is actually Deshaun Watson tweeting about himself.
About himself. Yeah, making corrections.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
The reason I'm laughing.
does he follow massage parlors, the burner account?
You have to look. You have to take a look at that one.
The reason I was laughing when we were talking about my dad, it
Yeah.
just brought to mind an old, not an old joke, a joke that
Yeah.
is somewhat inappropriate, but I really don't care.
Okay.
Are you gonna tell us now?
Yeah, let us have it.
Why do Jewish men die before their wives? Because they want to. Hey, football season is here. Dive into the best pool in history, Stadium Swim,
Love you, Cindy.
located at Circa Resort and Casino. Catch all the biggest games at a viewing experience built for sports fans. Chill in one of our 6 pools on 3 different levels for a perfect view of our massive 40-foot tall high-definition screen. Stadium Swim. It's America's favorite place to watch football. Hey, you might even see Vince Papale there. They have swim-up bars, Insta-ready selfie walls, and one nonstop football party. Score your perfect game day spot with cozy daybeds, private cabanas, or grab a lounge at the center of the action. Reserve your place today. It's 365 days of sports poolside. Located at Circa Resort and Casino in downtown Las Vegas on Fremont Street. We've been there. It's awesome. Stadium Swim, all sports, all seasons. Book your spot today at circalasvegas.com.
This was such I don't think we overplayed how hyped this game was for fans as a season opener coming off a victory over the defending Super Bowl champs.
The building was a lot.
Standing room only. Everyone talked about how loud it was, the players, the coaches, media, everything, and I expected a good team, which I still think the Lions can be a good team, by the way, because it's only 2 games in the year, but you win this game. We all said it. You go out and win this game. And to let down the fans, including myself, because I'm a fan, I'm just like it's just so deflating that they lost this game.
It was exactly deflating. All the energy that came in from, the place was amazing yesterday. everybody was in their seat like at least 5 minutes before kickoff, which never happens. People filter in a little bit later. Everyone was already there.
I heard they opened the doors even earlier than
They
usual.
did. They did. And it was so loud before the first snap of the game. I'm like, wow, this place is crazy loud right now. And an 8-minute drive to start the game by Seattle just totally put a pin in it. And, the Lions, they struggled. And then finally they start, doing their thing offensively. And Goff looked fantastic. But it was deflating.
Tigers salvage one game in their trip to Chavez Ravine as they beat the Dodgers last night 4-2. Reese Olson, who's pitched really well like the last month of the season, gets the win. 6 innings, 2 hits, only gave up a run, struck out 5. He's only given up 5 earned runs in his last 5 starts, which encompasses 30 innings. Derek Skubal goes tonight as the Tigers open up a 4-game series against the awful Oakland Athletics. The Tigers, by the way, are over their win total before the season.
Yeah.
So I should have bet it.
Yeah.
I am over. I was actually the positive one for once. You were Mr. Negative.
Quick question on them. Are they a little bit closer than you maybe thought going into this year? And has this been, I think, a relatively, I don't know about successful, but
it's a little bit hopeful might be the right word.
Yeah, I think hopeful's a better word. Hope's not a strategy. We know that. But it was a more hopeful outcome than I think a majority of people were expecting.
Yes.
Well, this is more like 2021, and I think there's some substance going forward that they didn't have then.
The concern is one of your young stars in Riley Green. How injury prone is he? Because
3.
Yeah, I mean that's the question.
Yeah. Well, if he gets injured again next year, just trade him to Philly.
Torkelson looks like he's a player. I mean, average-wise, no, but he's going to hit over 30 or more home runs. Kerry Carpenter looks legit. The jury's still out on Parker Meadows. I mean, he's fast. He's a really good defensive player. He's got 2 home runs, but he's hitting like 190.
Yeah.
Some of the young pitchers, like I mentioned, Reese Olson, Skubal, Faedo looks okay. The bullpen's been okay. Look, they announced what they teased. There's going to be a lot of improvements at Comerica Park next year, like for the fans. Maybe they should have the in-game Javi Baez dunk tank, where they just take him away from the dugout, put him in the dunk tank, and people can just, throw baseballs at the target, and he can be dunked.
He didn't play the last 2 nights.
No, he shouldn't. Hopefully, he has, something clicks in the off season where he gets his act together. I don't think it's a lack of trying. I think he's lost it, and I assume that he
take him away. The Falcons gonna
trade him to the Falcons. I assume that he will opt in because he'd be a fool not to, unless you're that prideful. You say, you know what, this just isn't working for me here.
I need to go somewhere else.
I've made enough money in my life. Look, you never know. All right. Is it too early to look at mock drafts? We're heading into week 3 tonight.
It's painful. It is painful. The only reason I pay any attention to mock drafts is because I simply would just want to see where they have the Lions picking.
Okay.
Because, before it was always, let's tank so we can get the better pick. Now it's, how many games are we going to win? How many playoff games are we going to win? Or at least do the mocks say we're going to win by where we pick.
Right. So there's draft orders, CBSSports.com. The order is based on the current Super Bowl odds from Caesars Sportsbook. And they have the Detroit Lions picking number 26, John. That'd be okay?
Yeah, behind the Bengals, the Cowboys, the Bills, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Niners. I think, yeah.
You know, if they lose this week and even next week to Green Bay, I imagine that would change. But
sure.
At 26, they have the Lions taking wide receiver from Florida State, Johnny Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because Florida State's other wide receiver, the former Spartan. Keon Coleman, goes to Baltimore at 23.
Yeah. And just to give everybody an idea, a little bit of what Johnny Wilson is, the dude's 6'7".
Oh, wow.
He's a tall target.
By the way, Chris Jenkins is 24 to the Cleveland Browns.
It's a Brownie.
All right. So they have Arizona going number 1 and number 2 because one of their picks is from Houston.
Yep.
And they have Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Wow.
Okay, they're set. And they also, they're set.
Yeah. As long as they can trade their current quarterback.
Or just make him the backup. Hopefully they could trade him, but you never know. I mean, as far the one question that I do have is one J.J. McCarthy.
Okay. Your question being?
Really a top 10 pick? Because he has him going 10 to the New York Football Giants. The J.J. be a member of the G-Men.
So
as
who
of right
goes
now,
ahead of him as a quarterback?
As a quarterback, we've got, like I mentioned, Caleb Williams. He'd be the only.
He's the second quarterback off the board.
Yeah.
Drake May goes 12 to the Vikings.
Yeah.
Shadur Sanders
16
goes
to Seattle.
16 to Seattle. It seems a bit high.
A bit? Yes.
Yeah.
I think the person making this list is high. He has JJ ahead of Drake May, right?
Yes.
As of now. And look, I'm not going by the 3 interceptions he had against Bowling Green. I'm just going, even JJ at his best, I don't think is as good as Drake May. I don't think he's a top 10 pick.
No. I don't. And right now, I would say no to begin with as well.
Yes.
Doesn't mean he can't work his way into it, but I don't see it yet in terms of his body of work.
Yes, indeed. Hey, congratulations to Russell from St. Clair Shores. He heard the Falcon screech. So he gets a 4-pack of tickets to see the Screeching Falcons take on the Lions Sunday at Ford Field, plus passes to the Lions VIP tailgate at Eastern Market by the Bullseye Group. Lions VIP tailgate is back by Bullseye Event Group. All you can eat and open bar for 3 hours before kickoff. Go to bullseyeeventgroup.com for tickets today. The NFL week begins tonight.
Yeah.
In San Francisco.
Yeah.
Where the Saquon Barkley S.
Less.
Yes, Barkley. Yeah, Barkley Less, not Barkley S. New York Football Giants, the future home of J.J. McCarthy, take on the San Francisco 49ers.
Yep.
The game will be streamed on Amazon again.
Correct.
And I think the broadcast has gotten much better. I think it's good. I like Al Michaels. I like Kirk Herbstreit, not as much as doing college football, but he's gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not up. I know this sounds like grumpy old man, but I'm still not great with the streaming because now tonight's not a good example because there's nothing else I want to watch. But when the season goes on and there might be a college game, there might be a Red Wing game, there might be a Piston game, I just hate the fact that you either need 2 televisions or 2 screens, maybe a computer, because you can't go flip back and forth. You can't flip next like you can if you're watching cable or satellite.
You got to watch the spinning wheel for a little while.
Yeah, and it sucks as a sports fan.
And here's the other reason: there's no DVR. Like you can go back and start the game over, but I don't think you can rewind to a specific point. At least, we have, and here's what drives me nuts about the Amazon one. For some reason, in our house, it's the Amazon feed that is slow. And there are times where the picture is pixelated or it freezes in the middle of a play and then it picks up. And we have the business internet. Like we have the high-speed business internet, and it's the only one. Netflix doesn't do it. Hulu doesn't do it. It's just Amazon. I don't know why that is. I don't know if anybody else experiences that, but that's the one that infuriates me.
The broadcast has gotten better, but the technical problems that a lot of people have are bad. Now, I've heard that people who get the Sunday ticket, who got it from DirecTV for years, and now it's only on YouTube, they love it because it's technically it's much better. They have 4 games at once. Sometimes they have that option. There's a lot of.
Oh, that's
things
right. You can do the picture in picture.
Yes. Exactly.
How do they do that though? In terms of changing the going to a different YouTube channel, like.
I don't know.
Once you're on YouTube, you're on YouTube. I get that, but you don't. Do you have to exit a game to go to the other game?
I don't know.
As I've understood, or as has been told to me, you have the option of the screen that you want to pick. You pick that screen, and then you fill it with the 4 games you want to see. And if you want to see a different game, you click that one, it goes off, and you pick another game that goes in that cube.
Yeah,
and there's no delay like the. Well, what I'm saying is, the one thing about the ticket when I had it in parts of my life was
the main deal.
The main deal. You just go up and down.
Right.
You know, can you actually go scroll through all games without any sort of delay whatsoever?
I don't know because I don't have the Sunday ticket anymore because I got to watch the Lions and that's it.
Yeah.
You know?
I do the NFL Plus, so I can watch the edited version, all the commercials cut out, the announcers cut out after the game. I can go back and watch all of the games. I can watch the all 22, but I don't want to watch them all live at the same time.
Right.
I'll flip between games, but I get locked into one game, especially if the Lions are playing. That's who I'm going to watch.
Now, Amazon also provides, I believe, like a next-gen feed as well with stats and all that kind of stuff.
They do, yeah.
And I know Doug loves that.
Yes. And then you can also, like if I don't get there right away at kickoff, there is a function where you can, go back to the start of the program and start watching it from there. But then if you flip away and you come back, I don't think it's in the same spot.
Yeah. All right. Our telephone number is 248-539-9797. I believe it's Gators' turn to try the $2 Grand Slam coming up next. 97 won the ticket.
Hey, this month, check out the exciting sales events happening at Fox Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Southfield. Shop Ram Power Days and Jeep Adventure Days to find great deals on new vehicles. Here's a couple of options. Lease a 2023 Jeep Compass starting at only $269 a month, or a 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn starting at only $299 a month. The best part is Fox CDJR of Southfield's easy 3-step process for purchasing a vehicle. First, work with the expert product specialist to pick out the perfect vehicle for you and your family. Next, the team will help you find the best price or payment for your budget. And finally, after you say yes to your new ride, you can take delivery in less than an hour with their expert delivery team. Stop by the dealership today at 11.5 and Telegraph for the best guest experience you've ever had, or you can visit them online at Fox Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Southfield.com. That's Fox Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Southfield.com. See dealer for complete details based on bank approval, proper and required documentation, including employee number, registration, and funds. Here's the thing about Gibbs is he needs to touch the ball more. We need to get more production out of him. He's a first-round pick, number 12 overall, and right now he's got 23 touches. That in 2 games.
Didn't Bijan have around 23 just on this Sunday?
Right, and whether it's in what Jahmyr Gibbs brings to this offense is the opportunity to be very creative. And that's where TJ and I talked about it yesterday on the podcast. Where's the creativity been in this offense? Last year with Amon-Ra St. Brown, we saw him line up in the backfield. We saw him line up everywhere. And we saw one play on a 4th down conversion to Amon-Ra St. Brown. One play that we look at and we say, okay, that's creative. We saw the flea flicker. That was creative. It created a touchdown.
He had one other play because I remember saying a Gator. I don't remember.
But with Jahmyr Gibbs, I would
play call.
expect to see more creativity with how you use him.
I'd prefer to not be here right now. Welcome in. People, I thought we were done with it. I thought we were done with having to lower our expectations, but that's where I'm at. It's a beautiful day here in Detroit. It's a beautiful life. But I have to tell you, I have to lower my expectations for this team because they're not ready for it. They're not ready to deliver on what I thought they were ready to deliver on. Because yesterday was unforgivable. That was as
248-539-9797 is the telephone number.
10 days rest.
I believe, Heather, we have the West Bloomfield versus the Rochester Adams.
No playmakers up front. And street free agents.
Where's it
both
at?
tackle
At West
spots.
Bloomfield.
You hit the quarterback
All right.
one time.
All right.
What is the name of
this team went out
Rochester Adams
The
team?
Highlanders.
and made mistakes.
Yeah.
that
Heather,
they
can we
just
get a
don't make.
touchdown?
And whether it's-
Highlanders!
I got a real problem with one
You
of the
just
fourth
did it
downs. but that's
phenomenally
fine.
well, but yes.
The fumble
Touchdown.
to come out of the half to flip the game on its ear. This
Very
defense
impressive.
on third down,
Yeah.
able to do
I know. Maybe
nothing.
we should have dueling
Nothing.
touchdowns,
And Rico's BFF,
announcements
Geno
in the
Smith
booth.
beats us
yeah.
again.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
You want to bring Colin and Emily to West
Emily.
Bloomfield High School?
Sorry.
A little
Heather
better.
wins that one. Yeah.
I agree. And I'm sure I'll mention it again tomorrow, but it's going to be a cool night at West Bloomfield High School because Ron Bellamy will be inducted into the West Bloomfield Coaching Hall of Fame.
Yes, I know. Well deserved.
Yes.
Excited for that moment for him and his family.
Yes, I did every one of his game and every one of his home games.
Mm-hmm.
I might have missed one for some reason, but yes,
Yeah.
that's why my first year was his first year.
Yep. That's why you are in possession of a championship ring.
That's right. I should wear that tomorrow.
You should.
Okay.
Should at least bring it with you.
Okay.
Put it on for the ceremony.
Yes, exactly. Hey, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
If the Major League, and we have 10 days left, I guess, till the baseball season ends, a week from Sunday with Miggy's last night. I guess that game is pretty close to being sold out, the last game, which is kind of cool. And it's really convenient because the Lions don't play that weekend because they play Thursday.
Yeah.
So you can,
you don't have to miss anything.
Right. Go down to see Miguel Cabrera's last weekend series at Comerica Park. But if the playoffs started today, here's what the matchups would be. I just want to ask you, who do you want to win the World Series, or at least play in the World Series?
Okay. All right.
In the National League, you have the Dodgers and Braves would have the bye. The Cubs would take on the Brewers. The Cubs, the 6th seed against the 3rd seed Brewers. The 4-5 matchup would be the 5th seed Arizona Diamondback and the 4th seed Philadelphia Phillies. In the American League, the top seed, the Baltimore Orioles, and the 2nd seed Houston Astros would get byes. 3rd seed, the Kings of the Central, the Minnesota Twins would have the 3rd seed. The Texas Rangers would have the 6th seed. Tampa Bay Rays 4th, Toronto Blue Jays 5. Now that could change because both wild card races are very, very tight.
Yeah.
Number one. So if under that scenario, who would you like to see play in the World Series?
I would like to see the Brewers and the Orioles.
Okay.
A couple teams we haven't seen there.
Yes.
In some time.
I get that.
And especially with Baltimore making the turnaround so quickly from where they were, kind of gives you hope here in Detroit.
Yes, they drafted very well. I would obviously opt for the Philadelphia Phillies, and it would be a repeat of the 1983 World Series, Phillies and Orioles.
Okay.
I think it'd be cool to sell the I-95 World Series because I think the Orioles are a great story too. I mean, they're fun. They've revitalized that great ballpark.
Oh, sure.
And it's it's a lot of fun. And
yeah.
Obviously, the Phillies would have to play the Braves again, and I don't think they can get to the World Series again. They had a magic.